All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about one of the most important things to help you make the really big money when it comes to reselling. Reselling. Welcome back to Over the Years, everybody. Hope you all are doing well. If this is your first time here, don't forget to subscribe, hit the thumbs up, notification bell, all that jazz. So today we're going to be doing a little teaching, little talking about some things to kind of help you expand a little bit of your reselling and also hopefully make more money doing reselling. So if you looked at the thumbnail, you'll notice that I'm holding up a figurine. So just to get right out the gate, some of the best flips I have ever made in reselling have come from figurines. I'm talking about buying one for 50 cents, selling it for $400. Couple of bucks, couple of $100. A lot of times, these are the type of pieces that can slip through the cracks, whether it's a thrift store, a yard sale, an estate sale, a flea market. So, learning how to, some things to look out for, learning how to identify these makers marks and these figurines can help you take you a long way as far as reselling goes, because a lot of times these pieces will be super underpriced, and it gives you a absolute large profit margin. Not all of them are obviously going to be a $400 piece, a $200 piece. Some of them are going to be 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, but still these are items that you can easily get for as low as 50 cents sometimes. And sometimes, you might pay 5, 10, $20 for a piece. There's been a couple of videos I put out already within the last month. There's one where I was talking about a figurine that I picked up, and I just looked at the bottom, and actually it's right here behind me. Okay, so something even like this, and I'll put up a little picture on the screen, obviously. So I flipped this over and I saw the marking. Now, I did not know what this marking was originally, but what I did is I looked that marking up. Then once I found out who the maker was to match the marking, I looked that name up with figurine and immediately saw the value and how insane it was, which made me pick this up. Now, looking up markings can be very, very easy. So, and it can be very difficult, obviously, just like anything else in reselling. So, I'm going to put up on the screen a couple of items that I just picked up at an estate sale that I paid. I basically was in on both of these figurines at $5. The first one is going to be this. They're both by the same brand. And you can also tell sometimes just by the quality. If you really take a look at the figurine, look into the detail of the figurine. If you see that detail, if you feel a little bit of weight, sometimes the weight can be different though. It might be a little bit lighter. And then you could just tell by the quality. And obviously that's something that you'll learn over time. But the quality will definitely be there, that kind of gives you a little bit of a hint. Like you almost are like, I feel like this could be worth a lot of money. So I picked up these two figurines. These are both figurines by Royal Ducks Do, Royaldux. So I have sold some of these figurines before, and I am the large one that's on the screen right now. That's the two hunting dogs. I mean, that this figurine is huge. It's not even a figurine; it's a damn statue. It feels like it's absolutely humongous. So something like that large with that sort of subject matter with a marking at the price of $5, I didn't even really need to look up the comps. I just grabbed it and added it to my pile. Then I saw the small lion, which you see up on the screen. Once again, quality, detail in the lion. Flipped it over, had the mark, had the sticker on it too. So that was like all determining factors for me to pick those up. And then obviously I got home, finalized my research, and these are the comps that are up on the screen right now. I mean, just by flipping over a figurine and seeing that marking really is an absolute game changer. So now I'm going to kind of like, I want to dive in a little bit into showing you guys some, of the markings of figurines that I personally have already grabbed over time that I know have potential, value because I've sold them before. So some of the countries that you're going to want to look out for, if you see it on the marking on the bottom, Germany is always one to kind of keep your eye out for. Germany, England, obviously, and then you have, you can find some that maybe in some other countries. Not a lot of the like high end ones that I have found have been outside of Germany or England. Sometimes Austria, excuse me, Bavaria, sometimes also. I feel like I'm missing one right now. Oh, Denmark. Denmark can be one as well. Holland. Those can also be really high in value as well. Now you'll find a bunch of figurines, and Yadro still has some value too, depending on the piece. But obviously, one of the other things you have to be very careful of is inspecting your items, okay? Making sure that there's no cracks, no chips. Because a lot of times on some of these figurines, especially like the animal ones, the ears or the tails can have some damage. So you always want to kind of check those over and double check them and make sure that there's no like severe damage on these pieces, because that will affect the value, obviously. So those are some of the countries that you want to look out for. Some of the names, obviously the one I just talked to you guys about, the Royal Ducks. Rosenthal, one of the most expensive figurines I ever sold was a Rosenthal figurine. Staffordshire. Now, some of the Staffordshire stuff that's like super, super high value, some of that stuff is going to be a little bit harder to identify because it's like 19th century stuff, like really, really old. But Staffordshire figurines sometimes won't necessarily have markings on it. That's when you kind of have to rely on your, instinct of feel and quality and design and detail. Once you kind of have that sort of stuff down, sometimes it's a little bit easier to take a risk. And obviously at like $1.50, $2, $5, totally worth the risk. Obviously not even just for the potential resale value, but for also for the knowledge, the time that you're going to sit down and research that item and all that information that you're going to learn along the way. Because sometimes it's not just about finding the information for that particular piece. It's also more so about all the information that you learn during the research. You might find other pieces that have value. Now you could kind of store that in your memory bank. You might find other makers, and then you're learning makers marks because you're looking through these. So that's some of the stuff that can prove to be extremely useful down the road. Now, as far as Maker's Marks goes, I will tell you there's one book that I absolutely love, and I'll put that up on the screen. That's the Covell's, what's it called? The Dictionary of Marks, or Dictionary of Maker's Marks. It's up on the screen right now. I have it on my bookshelf right over there. That's one of my favorite books. Also, if you guys aren't using WorthPoint, I did a video on WorthPoint. I'll put it up there above me, and I'll also put a link in the description below, and a link that you can use to get and try WorthPoint yourself. But they have an extensive Maker's Mark catalog and database that you guys can kind of look at and learn some of these Maker's Marks, because I talk about it all the time. It's so important. Sometimes, even if I don't know what the Maker's Mark is, if it has a Maker's Mark or a country name on it, like Germany, Austria, Denmark, England, I'm picking them up. Bessic is another great name to look out for too. Some of the older Bessic stuff can be worth crazy money also. So these are just some of the examples. And obviously on the screen, like I'll be kind of like showing you guys some examples of Maker's Marks and figurines, and some of these can go for thousands of dollars. I'm not saying that you're going to go out there and find $1,000 figurines, but what I'm saying is that the potential to find these at a very low cost and flip them for a very high dollar amount is a lot easier than most people probably even think about, because a lot of times it's difficult to know this, but the more that you pick things up and flip them over, that's the whole point of this video, is I'm trying to encourage you to pick things up that you may not normally pick up. Flip them over. Look at that Maker's Mark. Take the time if you don't want to do it right then and there, take a picture of it, go home, look it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, just familiarize yourself with these different makers marks because they can be worth a ton of money. So once again, WorthPoint has a database of makers marks that prove to be extremely useful. You know, you can always Google image. There's tons of websites out on the internet that'll help you as far as identifying makers marks. But for me, some of my best flips, and hopefully, you know, these two pieces that I'm showing you guys on the screen right now will provide that same sort of insane value that I'm preaching about right now. But it's just it's a lot of details out there that don't necessarily take you to know everything about porcelain figurines to make $1 million. Like, I'm not trying to give you a pipe dream. I'm just trying to give you the foundation. I'm trying to lay the seeds down to encourage you all. All it takes, pick it up off the table, flip it over, look at it, look it up, and be on your way. But hopefully you all found this video to be useful. Like I said, there'll be some links in the description below. I'm also including, obviously, some of, you know, these pictures up on the screen of some of the makers marks that I've kind of went over so far here. But I just wanted to get this sort of information out there so that you all can understand how easy it can be if you take the time to just flip over the figurines. And a lot of times too, if you go to thrift stores, they have a whole section of figurines. Now, do I find these sort of figurines at thrift stores all the time? Absolutely not. Now, but the thing is that when I do, they're usually priced cheaper than like a Lennox or, you know, one of those companies that has very little value anymore, but at one point was considered to be like very popular. So it's just about taking the time. And I feel like I wanted to make this video because obviously I just picked up those two pieces at the estate sale. And I'm like, how many people probably wouldn't have even looked at those pieces? How many people would have probably not even like flipped over those pieces? And I think about that, and I think about all the times that I found some pieces like that Rosenthal piece that I sold a few years back. I got that at a yard sale for 50 cents. I want to say it sold for $425. I sold another what was the other one I sold recently too? I just want to make sure that I pull this up for you guys because this was a crazy sale as well. And it was definitely like another figurine that I didn't necessarily know about a lot about. Oh yes. The donkeys. That was Rosenthal. I sold the twin donkey Rosenthal figurine for $239.99. I'll put that up on the screen for you guys. I mean, like, it's insane. Like, those are the type of pieces that, and why I said that if you're not doing this, you're missing out on money because these are the pieces that are going to slip through the cracks. These are the pieces that you're going to have the opportunity for a large profit margin. It's easy to go to an estate sale or a yard sale or something like that and, you know, pick up the things that everybody knows about, but they're probably going to be priced a little bit higher. The profit margin is going to be a little bit lower. Like, for me, it's all about getting these items at as low as possible price and selling them for the highest possible price that you can. And also, if you're getting things at 50 cents, $1, $5, if you have it listed for $250 and somebody sends you an offer for $200, you're not even going to think twice about it. I mean, you might counter with $225, but eventually you're going to be like, man, I paid $2 for this. I'm taking the $200 offer. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I'm going to reiterate it one more time. Just flip the items over. Look at the maker's marks. Learn your maker's marks. Hopefully, this will be that push that some of you need to kind of expand and understand this side of the market. Because, like I said, you don't need to be an expert, but boy, does it help to have some of this information in your arsenal. And then once you start learning some, the ball gets to rolling and you can really, really, really make some killer profits. So I'm not gonna keep dragging this on. If there's something that you guys want to learn more about, please leave some comments in the comment section below, because this is what we want to do. We want to make the videos that you guys want to see. We're trying to do a mixture of all these different videos and get you guys as much information, as much entertainment, as much excitement as we possibly can. So do me a favor, make sure you guys are subscribing, liking the videos. If you guys haven't watched some of the older videos, go give those a look. Make sure you guys are checking us out on the Reseller Information Network. It's another place where it's literally me and three of my best buddies: Cernox Connection, OBX Picker, and Blood, Sweat, and Cell, Leroy, Chris, and Eric. And we're just three completely different guys, all with the same goal of giving out as much free information as possible. So once again, thank you guys so much, as always. Oh, and last but certainly not least, don't forget to head over to Whatnot. We got two big sales coming up: one glass and ceramic sale, and then one vintage hat sale. So make sure you guys are heading over to Whatnot, bookmarking those shows. It's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you guys, as always. Don't forget YouTube. Stay classy.